Hey there guys, it's me Malorian. I got my voice back, so let's do another caster review. And the one that I thought we'd do today is Stryker2. Stryker2 is one of those models where he's starting to become a lot bigger in the meta. You're seeing him with the whole Flame in the Darkness and the Legion of the Lost Souls and all those fun units. So let's talk about that. So Stryker2, we're going to be talking about what the rules are. We're going to be talking about basically some of the ways you can use them and some tricks and tips. So to get right into it, Lord Commander Stryker, he is a Signar Morrowind caster, Focus 6, Speed 6, he's Strength 7, Mat 7, Rat 6, Defense 16, Armor 16, so well above that curve there. I mean, we used to always be the average that those two numbers were 30. I think we're usually above that now. But even then, having one where you're combined is 2 above the curve, that's pretty good. He's Command 9, he's immune to lightning, so that's pretty cool. And then he has 17 boxes and 2 different weapons. The first one is his gun. It's a range 10, POW 12, and one of the things that people always miss about this is that it's actually a rate of fire 2. So you usually see this, Stryker2 with this massive sword, and you're like, okay, he's going to hit me, but sometimes it just pew pew shoots you twice. So you got to watch out for that. He also has the Quicksilver Mark II, and so this one's a range 2, P plus S 15. Of course, both these things are magical. This one also has Disruption on it. So where Stryker 1 had Disruption on the gun and be like, pew, you're disrupted. This one here, well, he comes in there, he'll hit you, and you're disrupted, but you're probably usually dead as well. But we'll be talking about that later. Otherwise, there's no big rules to the weapons, but the one rule that he does have, which is fairly important, and a lot of times people actually mistake this for thinking it's the feat, is overload. Now, what overload does is once per activation, you can roll 1 to 3 dice. This model gains a strength bonus equal to the total of the roll. Then roll the same dice again. This model suffers damage equal to the total of that roll. This model cannot spend a focus point to reduce the damage. This bonus expires at the end of the model's activation. Yeah, this one can be very interesting. Basically, for it, you're rolling. People typically roll 3 dice. Depending if you don't really need it, if you have some health lost, you might go down further, but it can really catch you off guard because we said that his weapon was P plus S 15. Well, if you roll 3 dice, the average of that is 10.5. So let's just go with 10. He's P plus S 25. So we're going to get into a little bit more about his whole threat, but that is massive. Now, of course, at the same time, that could kill him because we said he has 17 boxes, and if you roll triple sixes, well, that's 18 damage. So the odds of that are very low, but still, it means that while you're doing this super powerful thing, you just might randomly kill yourself. So I know there's people out there that only just go with the 2 dice. I'm a 3 dice type of guy, but actually, sometimes I actually wish that you could actually go above this. It's like, hey, why not? You're taking on that risk reward. Make it whatever dice you want to roll. And I bet you there's a lot of times I go full 4 just like to hit things to the moon. But anyway, that's already a very interesting thing about Stryker2. All right, he has a bunch of spells. The first one is Deceleration. It's a cost 3, Rain Self. And this one here is going to be well in the spellcaster's control range. Friendly faction models gain +2 armor against ranged and magical attacks. So we said he was 16-16, but if you have this spell up, he's really 16-18. Of course, he's very mobile. You can be usually putting him in a cover, so it's very easy, even without Arcane Shield or something else, to be a 20-18. So yeah, his stats are usually just out of this world, and of course, this really helps deliver your army. We're going to be talking about later about where he wants a lot of infantry, and so this helps get that infantry to where you want it to be. He also has Lightning Storm. It's a cost 3, range 8, AoE 3, POW 10. And what this one does here is that models suffer a POW 10 electrical damage roll. This spell's AoE is a hazard that remains in play for 1 round. And if you enter or end this thing, you get a POW 10. So It's one of those things that's a bad nuke, but sometimes you might want to put out there to have an AoE. It really almost never comes up. I mean, there might be this rare corner case where you like this spell, but typically you'll never cast that one. Positive Charge, this is an interesting one, and one that at first I really didn't put a lot of stock in, but it really does a lot of work for you. So it's a range 2, cost 2, and this one here is going to be target friendly faction warjack gains +2 to melee attack and damage rolls. So already that'd be like, okay, that's pretty good, makes my jack really good, but it goes more than that. And what it says is that while within 3 inches of the effective warjack, friendly faction models gain +2 to their melee attack and damage rolls, and it'll last for 1 turn. So this is pretty great. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, Stryker's going to be sneaking up and trying to hit things with the sword. Well, no, you could do a lot of work from back in the background where you could be taking a Lancer, put it on there, run the Lancer into wherever you're attacking, and all of a sudden, everything else you're sending into there is +2 to hit and +2 damage, and that's massive. Now, of course, it'd always be best if you could put on a jack, it goes in, does some work, but I mean, usually then it kills whatever it's going after, so that doesn't always work out the way that you want it, but still, having this buff that's so easy to apply, really great to have. Alright, he also has Rebuke, and what Rebuke does is it's a cost 2, range 10 upkeep. Target model unit cannot give orders, receive orders, or make power attacks or special attacks. So this is another one that a lot of times it'll sit on his card, it won't do too much, but then in those key times where you need it, he'll just go there and rebuke some cav, or rebuke a key unit, and now they can't charge. Or maybe screaming on a jack that, you know, really wants to trample or something like that. And now it very simply can't. So, again, a spell that's really great to have on there, you won't always use it. The last one is Velocity. So Velocity is going to be a cost star, range self, and the spellcaster can spend up to 3 focus points to immediately advance up to 2 inches for each focus point spent, and it can only be used once per activation. So basically, you can be spending up to 3, meaning you can move up to 6. Now, let's talk about that, because that's what makes Stryker2 so dangerous. I mean, already you can get super powerful, and that'd be good enough as it is, but he can hit out very far. So of course, if Stryker2 had nothing else, he's speed 6, he charges 9, has 2 inches, he could be affecting things 11 inches away. Alright, that's alright. Well, with Velocity, we're now up to 17 inches. 17 inches of non-linear threat that he can be going around, and that can be really crazy. I mean, people don't usually think about the Velocity and how it's not just a straight line where I can charge this thing that's on this side of the house and Velocity to your caster that's behind it. And of course, when I'm POW 25, yeah, that's going to be doing a lot of work. So very threatening. Lots of things you can do. Of course, you can also do stuff for, like, you go in and you attack and then you back away. I mean, this is a thing where you could be using Stryker multiple times and being able to not just be like a one-time, okay, I'm going to supercharge, almost die, and take out a caster or a colossal. It can be like charge up, kill you, Velocity back, everybody else go in. Okay, next turn, charge up, kill something, Velocity back. So very versatile, lots of movement shenanigans. Of course, in Flame of the Darkness, you can also take things like a Galleon and be like craning him as well for another 2 inches. That's probably not going to be the biggest thing that you want to do, but still, lots of things you can do. And we're not done yet. So let's talk about the feat. The feat is Rolling Thunder, and what it says is that after all friendly models have completed their activations, so this is key because activations are done, so if you roll that 3 dice and get plus 10 strength during Stryker's activation, it's not going to apply here. Friendly faction models and units currently in Stryker's control range advance up to 3 inches and can make a 1 basic melee attack. When resolving these attacks, affected models can spend focus points to boost 1 attack or damage roll for each focus spent. So what this really is a huge damage boost for your army here. So usually the ways you see this is, one, if you're in the thick of things, it's basically an end-of-game vengeance. So you're fighting, he'll pop his feet at some point. Once everybody's done, they'll move up, they'll get an extra attack, and you're just doing way more work there. The other way you'll use it is for a super threat extender, because of course what that means you can do is just run your infantry and then they'll move another 3 and get their attack. So again, talking about things like Legion of the Lost Souls, normally they're speed 6, they have reach, they threat 11. Well, what if they just run 12, go another 3 for 15 inches, and hit things 2 inches away so that your infantry also threaten 17 inches. So that's massive. Even that part with the focus sometimes comes in there as well, because your jacks can do that too for that threat, where they can just run up there and, okay, boost a hit, boost damage. And normally this is something where you think you're safe, right? Let's take something like a regular Signar Heavy that's speed 5, reach 1. Normally, you'd think you might be safe and out of its range. Then it's going to run its 10. It's going to go another 3 and then hit out for 14 inches of threat. So this is something that normally you don't see, and it can really catch you off guard. And of course, now that we're talking about things like Flame in the Darkness, this could mean that your units are attacking 3 times in the same turn. They might get a vengeance attack, a regular attack, and then a feed attack. And so something like Legion of Lost Souls that can be, POW 12 to start, and then there's so many different ways you could be buffing up its damage. It could just do so much work in a single turn. A lot of other channels have talked about Flame in the Darkness, but let's just say things like with Alexia 3 and Throne, Positive Charge, Ragman, Hermit, you could do crazy amounts of damage. And so anybody that can actually go and apply the force like Stryker2 can and make sure it gets there with things like deceleration is amazing. And the big thing to remember here too is that, remember, while we're doing all this crazy stuff with the infantry and they're smashing all the stuff, at some point they got to worry about that he's going to go Super Saiyan and just charge in and kill something. Now, a big thing to keep in mind with that and with the whole feats thing, and well, not even the feat, I always call the feat the overload, is that's why it's so important for you to protect Stryker2 before that happens, because if they shoot you with a random shot, it's not going to kill you, but it does like 4 damage. That 4 damage on Stryker really makes things a lot more scary now if you want to be rolling the 3 dice. So as the Stryker2 player, you always want to keep him very safe. And as the other player, you want to sneak some damage in wherever you can. On the other side, remember that he's very good against War Machine armies and not as great against hordes. And the reason for that is very clearly that if he hits you and does like tons of damage, a Hordes player or Infernal Master will just transfer that damage to somebody else. So that's not good. He wants to hit you super, super hard. Sure, you can reduce it by 5. I don't care. I upped it by about 10, and that's going to be doing fantastic. As well, he doesn't like seeing really high defense. Mat 7's okay, but he's no butcher, right? He's not going to be easy be hitting everything around. If you do have a Morrowind Archon, that makes him then Mat 8 if you're within range, so that can help as well too. But yeah, he really wants to see things that are, Darius, right? Low defense so he can hit. And if you have higher armor and you can like reduce with focus, sure, whatever. That's not a big deal. I just want to keep on hitting you for super, super high. So anyway, there you go. There's Stryker2. We're going to keep on going in this series, talking about the different casters. We're going to be talking about some other topics too. So please post down below if you have any other thoughts on Stryker2 or any other topics you want me to cover. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.